of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Giselle and Josh, you guys are up. So it's time for our Student Board of Ed reports. Who's ever going first is fine, doesn't make a difference.
Okay. Good news from Cornwall and Hudson. The character trait of cooperation has been prevalent throughout the COH community during the month of January. The halls were filled with work that has been done under the theme of cooperation. COH celebrated Dress as Your Future Self Day on January 22nd and 26th. Students dressed in clothes and costumes that depicted what they wanted to be when they grew up. The halls were filled with police, firefighters, teachers, doctors, baseball players, nurses, and scientists. During the month of January, the 3rd and 4th grade students continued their explorations of various reference sources. They can use the OPAL system to find a book at COH or use a library card for the public library. In the month of January, all students have learned about the game of basketball in physical education class. They have been learning ways to dribble, pass, and shoot a basketball. Students will also be learning the triple threat position when dribbling and the different ways of passing the basketball. Willow Avenue, good news for January. Willow Avenue kicked off the month of January with our monthly character trait of cooperation. Students have done an excellent job of modeling this trait on the screen and in person. Students spent last week studying the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through reading articles, watching videos, singing songs, and presenting to their classmates. Our PE classes are competing in jump rope competitions using their PE packs and their individually designed jump ropes. Kindergarten is visiting the land of shapes and snow globes, and we will use our prior knowledge of counting to compare sides and vertices. Our 1st grade students are becoming such strong readers. They are enjoying with increased confidence, accuracy, and enjoyment. 2nd grade students also just completed their snow globe book report. They picked a favorite holiday or winter book and wrote about characters, setting, beginning, middle, and end. They were so artistic and well done. They are hanging in the halls for all to see. In 3rd grade, students have taken a trip to Neverland as they read the novel Peter Pan. They have also written narratives about their own Neverlands. 4th grade is working hard on long division and exploring electricity with hands-on lessons with balloons to learn about static electricity and circuits to explore the paths of electricity. Happy New Year from Willow. Good news from Cornwall Elementary School. In December at Cornwall Elementary School, we prepared for the holidays by participating in fun STEAM activities. In addition, our kindergarten and 2nd grade students learned how different countries celebrate holidays around the world. Our PTO got in the holiday spirit by collecting cold weather clothing and selling Cornwall Cares ornaments. The PTO used the proceeds from the sales to buy many things that were needed this year, like sanitizer, masks, diapers, etc. All donations and clothing items were delivered to the Newbury Ministry over winter break. Thank you to everyone who made a donation. Since we returned from winter recess, there have been many exciting learning activities taking place at Cornwall Elementary School. Mrs. Tiano's 4th grade class created wigwams and learned about the Native Americans. Mrs. Patak's 2nd grade class created their own snowmen as a fun STEAM activity. And Mrs. Camacho's 4th grade class did some character trait surgery. They read about different characters and identified their traits based on the characters' thoughts, dialogue, and actions. They enjoyed being surgeons. Last week, on Inauguration Day, Mrs. Camacho's class was welcomed with a room transformation and Secret Service TAs who greeted all the students and checked their press passes for entry. They spent the day in the White House completing different Inauguration Days activities and playing presidential trivia. Mrs. Noonan's class held their own inaugural ball. They learned about the events that take place every Inauguration Day, watched clips of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris's inauguration, and learned special dances like the waltz. They dressed the part and had a great time. In the upcoming month, we look forward to a virtual paint night. our students celebrating Black History Month, and continuing to see our character tree bloom with great examples of students continuing to demonstrate strong characteristics of a Cornwall dragon.
Good evening, everybody. So firstly,
Josh, can I just interrupt you just
Of
for a
course.
second? I'm sorry. If Sean is still here, Teresa hasn't been able to get in. I don't know who can help that. And then Nina's getting a message.
I'm here
Is
now,
Teresa in?
Nancy.
Oh,
Nancy.
Teresa, thank you. And Nina's getting a message that the meeting's full and she can't get in. So I don't know.
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, I'm here. I'm working on it. We
Okay,
reached the
thank you
limit.
so much. I'll let her know that.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Go ahead.
Of course. Just firstly, some good news from the middle school for January 2021. So for the next 2 weeks, students at CCMS will take part in the Great Kindness Challenge and No Name Calling Week. Our 5th and 6th graders will be participating in the Great Kindness Challenge, while 7th and 8th graders participated in No Name Calling Week. In an effort to increase participation, inclusion, and spread kindness and awareness, CCMS has sponsored theme days throughout the week. Students are encouraged to tally their acts of kindness and turn them in at the end of the week. Although school looks a little different this year, CCMS teachers have been working hard to bring some exciting speakers to their classes. At the end of December, Ms. Schoonmaker invited a biologist from Alabama who shared her educational journey and job caring for animals. Students got the chance to explore a day in her life and learn about all the different careers available in biology. Mrs. Firestone brought author and marine scientist Dr. Ellen Prager into her classroom. Following a guided reading and Dr. Prager's fictional story, Escape Galapagos, Mrs. Firestone arranged for a virtual visit with the author and her 8th grade science class. During a remote platform, students were able to view and listen to a brief lecture from Dr. Prager about her books and her career as a marine scientist. And good news from CCHS. Firstly, in terms of our arts, the CCHS a cappella groups, Treble in Paradise and the Love Notes, held auditions for new members earlier this month. They are now full groups and are excitedly preparing for their a cappella night in a few months. A few students selected also participated in a virtual all-state concert this year, where they perfected their pieces of music and sent a recording to the audio engineer, who is now merging the recordings and finalizing the concert. Congratulations to Cornwall's all-state participants. Also, we want to congratulate Zachary Hummel for his admittance to the All Nationals Band and Jonathan Archangel for his 3rd year of participation in the New York State Band Directors Association. Congratulations to all our excellent musicians. This week, a couple of winter sports have officially begun. The track and ski teams were able to have their first practice Thursday afternoon. Both teams were able to implement social distancing protocols into their workouts to ensure safety while enjoying the sport they love. Though they now have a shortened season, the athletes are excited to be at practice with their fellow teammates and coaches. Finally, students were excited to be back to school after the long winter break and were happy to see one another in school last week. Some students were disappointed about being fully remote this past week, but we understand that it was needed to keep ourselves and the community safe. Yet, silver linings come from all situations, and we continue to be impressed with every teacher's adaptability to remote learning. Despite the difficulty of drawing or writing with a mouse, our teachers have adapted perfectly and have become true artists with our mouses. Shout out to Mr. Cook, highlighting just one example of how exemplary their efforts are in continuing our students' education. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Giselle. Are you guys able to stay for the entire meeting tonight, or did you need to? Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on to committee updates. Larry, do you have an update for us?
Yeah, sort of. We did get the electronic copy of the BCS when it was, they said they would deliver it. The only issue is that we had asked for a printed copy. Just as an idea of the size of this, just the high school alone was 140 pages. So this is quite a document. And we've asked them to make sure that we have bound copies. It'll be easier for all of us to go through these than trying to go through them electronically.
Okay, thank you. Margaret, is there any Orange County School Boards Association update?
That would be Larry.
Oh,
I did go to the meeting in December. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, geez. Give me a second. Go to the other ones and I'll get
no,
my.
that's okay. If not, that's all right. You might have already given us the update. I didn't know if there was another one. That's okay.
Yeah, I probably did. No, I didn't yet, but go to the other people. I'll get my notes.
Okay. Brendan?
Yeah, so for the communication committee, we have a community outreach event scheduled for next Tuesday night. So that's February 2nd at 7 p.m. It's going to be handled via Zoom. We'll have all of the dial-in information and all that available tomorrow through various district and board channels. The topic is going to be what I think is on a lot of people's minds: school during COVID, what's working and what's not. We're going to ask for everyone to submit their questions beforehand. All that information will be within the link that we share tomorrow. It's going to be a Zoom forum, so we obviously want to try to keep it as organized as possible. But I know a lot of people have been asking questions and emailing the board, and there's been a lot on social media. So we want to give people an outlet that they can ask their questions in a constructive way and get some good information. So again, that'll be next Tuesday, February 2nd, 7 p.m. via Zoom. Obviously, fellow board members, everyone welcome. Terry is going to be there as well. So it should be, a good, helpful, informative night.
Okay, thank you, Brendan. John, I know the audit committee will give their update during our resolution. Am I correct?
That sounds good, Nancy. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Any other committees? Okay, Terry, we'll move to you for the superintendent's update.
Hey, good evening, everyone. First point of note, just want to follow up on Josh's comment about the excitement for some of our athletes to officially begin their season. So alpine skiing, indoor track, and swimming all officially began on the 19th. So it'll be a shortened season, but they're super excited to move forward. There was a flurry of activity Friday as the governor released kind of the green light for localities to decide about moderate to high risk sports. So it's important for our community to know that this is not a school board decision. This is not a superintendent decision. This is not a coach decision. This is something that Dr. Gelman and the Orange County Department of Health needs to weigh in to either say we're going to allow additional sports to move forward with their seasons or not. So once we get that determination, we'll make sure that the board and broader community are made aware of that. But again, this is not something, when we say locality, that does not mean school board is making that determination. We're really waiting on the guidance from Orange County Department of Health. On that same note, there was a bit of activity, like Brendan stated, with regards to some parents asking, what is the barrier to going full in person or allowing more in-person instruction? So I got quite a few emails. I know our president of the board did as well, that she shared out with the board. So a misconception that we're seeing as a pattern in the emails is that the board is not making a decision for more in-person instruction. That is not true. We were provided guidelines from the New York State Department of Health and then the Orange County Department of Health with regards to what in-person instruction could look like in all of Orange County. One of the key pieces that's preventing any more in-person instruction in Cornwall is the masking plus social distancing mandate. There's other jurisdictions across the state and across the country where it's masking or social distancing. In Orange County, we have face covering and social distancing mandates. So if you take a typical classroom, a lot of our students are well aware of this, our staff are well aware of this. You will see a maximum number of students in our classes where they can maintain at least 6 foot distance in between desks, in between activities and the like. So again, a misconception being that the board is holding back a decision to go forward with that, and that is not true. If we get any relief from some of these requirements from Orange County, we would be able to consider that as a community. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. The prevailing question was, what is the barrier to more in-person instruction? So that's all I had by way of update. Any questions from our board?
Yeah, just one thing, Terry. One of the things that was mentioned to me that we have at least one school district in Orange County that some of their classes have gone full live. And as it turns out, that district had a closed building that they could reopen to do it in. So we don't have that luxury. So
That's correct. One of the, Larry's exactly correct. One of our smaller districts in Orange County had a vacant building. So they were able to expand their population into that building to allow for full in-person instruction.
And if I can just chime in there. So Terry, you know, in anticipation of the our forum next week, I've started to, you know, make sure that I've got all my facts straight and everything. So instead of asking you for, you know, the 15th time about the masks and distance, I thought, well, let me save Terry the email. I just called Orange County Department of Health directly. And I wanted to be as, you know, specific as possible, just to be sure that nothing had changed very recently, right? And they confirmed to me when again, asked point blank, is it an and or is it a but? And, you know, 6 feet and masks. And they said, it confirmed that it's both. So I think you're right that is one key point that has been misunderstood. And to Larry's point, the examples of where you see that it's, you know, it's happened, they've found more space. They are still adhering to the guideline. They have just found a way to do both.
Thank you, Brendan. Well said.
Okay, all set, Terry?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you. We're on to C, recognition of visitors. And so I did get several emails. I'll be honest to my board, I'm not 100% sure if I forwarded all of them to you. So I will, by tomorrow morning, resend them all to you so that you have a copy of every one. Okay, and there is, there's a total of 7 that I'm going to read to you. Okay. So what I want to go back to our policy for speaking at board meetings, because it also relates to when I am reading someone's statement, that there is no cross discussion between speakers or between the board. So what we do is I am reading these and those are the comments, just like we would do at a live meeting. We don't comment back and forth. So I just wanted to say that for benefit of the public to understand why we're not going to enter into a discussion with this. So, okay. First one, good evening, Nancy. As the school year continues, some parents are realizing that what is best for their children is to be in school full time. Many parents over social media have voiced their opinions and frustrations with this school year. It has been extremely stressful for parents, teachers, and most importantly, our children. It has become a financial drain on many families, having to provide extra childcare for remote days. We are asking to be heard and for a voice. We are asking for maybe a new survey. Allow the people who were forced into hybrid due to not having a medical reason to possibly stay home and be remote. We now have capabilities to live stream, poll the remaining families. I feel if the numbers come back the way I think they will, we will still be able to social distance. Begin with K4, none of our schools have become a cluster, and that means it's not spreading through the school. People are bringing cases in, but not spreading due to the protocols we have in place. Thank you, I appreciate your time, Christine Laporta. And then I received a second email from her as a follow-up to my first email. I have also created a petition just to see if other parents share in my support. Since yesterday, I have 180 signatures. My hopes was for the board to see we want some type of change and maybe for you to present this to the Department of Health. Your voice is louder than mine, but all our voices together and possibly bring change. Thank you. Email number 2, good afternoon. I have the following questions for the Board of Ed. Why is Cornwall continuing with the 14-day quarantine instead of the 10 days recommended by the CDC? I was contacted by New York State Contract Tracing today, who confirmed the 10-day quarantine requirement. Why is Cornwall Middle School not having recess on a consistent basis? My son, who attends COH, goes out at least twice a day With social interactions already limited, why is CCMS limiting recess? I understand from the student handbook that recess is at the discretion of administration and cafeteria staff. However, it's not clear how limiting recess time aligns with CCSD wellness plan. I appreciate you looking into these issues. Sincerely, Jody Cabrera. Number 3. Hi, Ms. Bryan. My son is attending kindergarten in the fall. I'm interested to know what the metric the district will be using to determine whether to go back to full days of school. Presumably by the fall, all the teachers will have been vaccinated. Will that be enough? If not, what will be the determining factors? Thanks, Julia Dahl, future COHES parent. Number 4. Good afternoon. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the district in their efforts to provide an education to our students during these unprecedented times. At this time, my husband and I have some serious concerns that we would like to see addressed at next week's Board of Ed meeting. My son is a senior at Cornwall Central High School. Are there any plans to bring the students who want to be in the building back for full-time in-person learning this year? We are willing to send our son back and accept the risks. My son already missed his junior season of varsity baseball. What is the outlook? Got spring sports in 2021. We are willing to let our son play baseball and accept the risks. Are there plans to have a senior prom? If it can't be held indoors, can a tent be erected on school grounds for this event? We would happily volunteer our time and money to make this happen. What are plans for graduation? If the district was able to have a graduation last year during the height of the pandemic, we would expect the same for our students. Seniors should still have the opportunity to have their ice cream social, all-night grad party, senior skit night, scholarship awards night, and sports banquets. All of these activities can be held outdoors in a safe manner. I appreciate you taking the time to consider these issues. I think we can all agree that our students deserve better. Larissa Harvey. Number 5, good afternoon. I'm hoping for some clarity at the next Board of Ed meeting regarding the barriers preventing reopening the Cornwall schools to in-person learning full-time. Is it not having enough space in the classrooms for the desks to remain at 6 feet apart? Is it necessary to be 6 feet apart and masked? Is it the cafeteria not having enough room to properly distance? Is the school district required to follow Orange County guidelines, state guidelines, and/or CDC guidelines? Having a better understanding of the issues and how the district is addressing them would be beneficial to the Cornwall School District community. Sincerely, Jen Grammerstorff. Number 6, dear Nancy, hello. My question for the Board of Ed meeting is if and when high schoolers will be returning to school full-time virtually and in person. I have a babysitter at the high school and this greatly affects my childcare situation. Thank you, Canna Stanley. And number 7, I would like to submit a question for the board meeting this evening. Has the board considered offering a pass-fail option for high school students, especially freshmen? This is a strategy adopted at the end of the last academic year by many colleges in order to mitigate the damage to students' GPAs who are struggling with all the uncertainty and modifications to the learning environment, to put it lightly, due to the pandemic. As we know, the challenges have continued into this school year and worsened for many students. This is an option that I think many parents and students would get behind. Thanks for your time. Best, Josh Enselin. And that is it for our comments from the public. So I thank everybody for their input. And now we are on to new business, the consent agenda.
Nancy, if I could just do another short plug for shamelessly for next week's meeting, but we will be able to have more crosstalk at that forum. It won't have the same structure of a regular board meeting.
Yes, thank you, Brendan. So the use of the consent agenda permits the board to make more effective use of its time by adopting a single motion. Any member of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may so indicate. Is there anyone that wishes to pull off an item 2 through 7 off the consent agenda? Okay, motion to accept. I'm sorry, I'll read the motion officially. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following consent agenda as submitted by the superintendent of schools, items 2 through 7. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll move it.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, Louis,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Teresa,
Aye.
Brendan,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Margaret,
Aye.
Nina,
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you. Motion carried for consent agenda. Okay, so we're up to new business, non-consent items. We have several tax cert resolutions. I'm going to ask that we're going to do this. We're going to do items 1 through 10 as one resolution, just like we would do the consent agenda. It's all just a matter of course. Is there anyone wishing to pull one out?
Yes, Nancy, I'd like to pull out number 2.
Okay, number 2. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have items 1 and then 3 through 10. So resolved that the Board of Education does hereby approve the tax cert resolutions, items 1 and 3 through 10. Do I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call. Louis,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Teresa,
Aye.
Brendan,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Margaret,
Aye.
Nina, and myself. Aye, thank you. Motion carried. So now we go to item number 2 on the tax cert. And so do I have a motion to approve item 2, tax cert resolution? Larry, yes. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. Any discussion? Roll call. Louis,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Teresa,
Abstain.
Brendan,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Margaret,
Aye.
Nina, and myself. Aye, thank you. Motion carried. Okay, item number 11 is the external auditor's contract resolution. Resolved that the board approves the EFPR Group CPAs PLLC as external auditor for 5 years commencing with the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021, annual audit, and 2, authorizes the board president and superintendent of schools to take steps necessary to engage their services in line with the terms and conditions of their submitted RFP proposal. Do I have a motion?
John will move it.
Second.
And I have a motion and a second. Discussion. John?
Thank you, Nancy. So just to be very brief, the audit committee met, went through a very, what I'll call thorough and highly competitive RFP process. We had 4 qualified firms, to include our current external auditor, provide a submission or proposal. We evaluated these proposals. We interviewed the finalists, as well as checked their references. And in the end, we found EFPR's submission to be the most beneficial and costly, or most benefit cost arrangement. And let me tell you about the benefit first. The benefit is such that within their audit work, they incorporate a financial related IT control assessment. I think that would be very good, and the committee agrees with that. Another thing that they provide is a new set of eyes. After 35 years, Nugent & Hausler has provided excellent audit work, but after 35 years, it's always nice to have a new set of eyes review the financial statements. Based on the references, we believe the quality of work from this firm, EFPR, will be of the high caliber that we received from Nugent & Hausler over the years. And the final thing is, based on the cost, their 5-year cost totaled about $140,000. That was some $30,000 less than the cover bid. So when you package all these considerations together, the committee was compelled to recommend to the full board that we switch audit firms and go with EFPR Group. Any questions?
I do, Nancy or John, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, Louis.
The 5 years, Nugent Hauser, they were also a 5-year term?
Correct. So
Okay.
we are required every 5 years to RFP based on state guidance.
Yeah.
And so this last year was the final term of that 5-year contract. So it's time for us to go out and do it again.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you so much, John, and thank you to the audit committee for all of your hard work on this. So resolve the board, I read the resolution, so we had our discussion, roll call. Louis?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Teresa?
Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Margaret?
Aye.
Nina? And myself, aye. Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you all very, very much. Item number 12 is the CVS tax cert resolution. This is a little different than the other tax certs, so this was a separate item. So it's resolved that I'll take it as per document and then read the resolution. And then if we have any questions, Harvey can certainly explain this to you a little further. Be it resolved that the superintendent of schools, it resolved that the above reference action be settled and discontinued for the recommended terms of settlement. And then it's further resolved that the superintendent of schools, board president, and board council are authorized to execute any documents necessary to settle and discontinue the above referenced action. And it is further resolved that the assistant superintendent for business is authorized to pay the settlement refunds, including the use of funds from any applicable tax certiorari reserve fund. So do I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
And a second, okay. Any discussion? Harvey, can you just explain why this is a little different?
Sure. The distinction here is that this is based on a settlement between the district, the town, and the plaintiff, so to speak. And whereas the other ones were based on folks going to tax cert, grievance court, and the judge making a decision. So this was a very favorable outcome for the district. Just to give you a point of reference, Honeywell Law Firm was able to get them to agree to this valuation. The valuation that they agreed to is, there's 2 years involved. One is 2.6 million and one is almost 2.5. It's important to note that the requested valuation for each year was 600,000. So whereas we're paying out about $6,000 a year, it could have been $60,000 each year. So this is a good deal.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, roll call. Louis?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Teresa?
Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Margaret?
Aye.
Nina? Nina, are you muted? I'm not sure. We've been having a hard time hearing you. Okay, motion carried. Thank you. All right, we are up to closing comments from the board. Giselle, would you like to start?
Sure. I just like to say that so far through January, the high school has we're definitely a little bit surprised because of the sudden break, but we do understand why. And we just want to emphasize that we understand the decisions made, and we want to thank you all for just caring for our education and just looking for our future. Thank
you, Giselle. Josh?
Yeah, to echo that, I was struck a few days ago when the superintendent had just a meeting with us when we asked him, and just the level of interest that you all, Mr. Dade and the rest of the board, that you all have in the student perspective, and really hearing what the students and the parents have to say. And I know you're getting a ton of inputs at this time. There's, you know, a million different opinions flying at you at every different direction in this incredibly difficult time. But I really, truly appreciate you guys hearing out our perspectives and trying to make the best decision, granted all those different perspectives. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being a part of this board. Let's see, mix it up a little bit. Brendan, how about we start with you?
Why did I know you were going to call on me when you said mix it up a little bit? It was just a premonition.
No.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So I actually would like to take a minute just to address the petition that has been going around, because I think that Terry did a great job earlier of addressing some of the underlying, I guess, misunderstanding that has sparked not only that petition, but also some other questions. And, you know, I think that it's important for people to understand that as a board, I will speak for myself. I completely agree with the underlying sentiment behind that petition. I have 2 young children. I want schools to be open 5 days a week, certainly more than I want to get a haircut, more than I want to go to a bar, and I want to go to a bar, but it doesn't hold a candle to my desire to get our kids back in full time. And quite frankly, it kind of disgusts me that as a society, we didn't prioritize our schools on day one of this. You know, children and working families were obviously the last consideration of every public policy or lack of public policy that has come out of federal and state authorities since this began. And the fact that we're still trying to figure this out, how to get kids back in schools, makes me angry, and it breaks my heart. I think this is a crime against a whole generation of kids. So I want that to be known right up front. So for all the people that are signing the petition, I could not be more with you. But we as a board cannot do anything to change the federal, state, and county policies that have put us in this position. You know, as Terry mentioned earlier, it's the state and county health guidelines that determine whether we can go back full-time in person. So to turn this into a constructive exercise, I would say if your goal is to get kids back in full-time, which again, I completely support, you need to talk to the people with the power to do something about that. So Senator Skoufis, Assemblyman Schmidt, Governor Cuomo's office, tell them to start prioritizing our schools. Tell them that if the state or county can't budge on the 6 feet rule, then districts need more funding so they can find more space. If you do that, I'll be the first one to sign your petition. Because if we want to see our kids go back full time, we need to direct our demands at the people with the power to do something about it. Anything else is just venting. So again, a sincere thank you to everyone behind the petition. I hope we can bottle that energy, find ways to channel it moving forward, which is yet another segue into plugging the next week's event. Again, Tuesday, Tuesday, February 2nd, 7 p.m. Again, school during COVID, what's working, what's not. I think it should be a good discussion. As an old math teacher of mine used to say, be there or be trapezoid, which is just as bad of a joke now as it was back then. So anyway, thank you for the time. Be well, and hope to see you all next Tuesday night.
Okay, thank you. John, can we move on to you?
Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks,
So
John.
it's hard to believe that we're at the halfway point of the academic year. If you think of how last year with COVID hitting us back in March started, to think that we would have successfully navigated these challenging waters over the first couple months of the academic year and be at this place where we're debating how to move forward and how we can influence a better tomorrow. I tell you, I would have lost that bet because I thought we would not get to the place where we are today, which is in the hybrid model. And we've been there from day one. And so I understand, just like Brendan said, the frustration. As a parent, I feel the frustration as well. And I have the same concerns about my kids' future and how this is going to affect them, not just this year, but for the rest of their lives. And I don't know anyone who's on the board or part of the school district staff, whether it be teachers, administrators, and other employees, that don't feel the same way. And so I think it's important for us to recognize that our voice as one to the people that really control basically the ropes that are tied on everyone is where we need to direct our focus and our efforts and our time. So Brendan, thank you for stating that up front. It's really important for us to get it right. And I take great comfort in knowing that we've gone from a moment of time of fear where everyone was fearful of COVID, where now people are getting more comfortable with the routine of trying to get it better and finding a way to get back to the way things were, as in with a full time. So we've, I think, turned the corner, as it were. And I hope that's the case and that the future will be just as bright as I hope. Now, let me say some words of congratulations to our accomplished musicians. Giselle and Josh, thanks for spreading the good news and sharing that with us. I wish to say good luck to our athletes who are fortunate enough to compete. How lucky they are. We have lots of athletes in this district, but only a few are in those sports that are deemed to be safe enough to compete. So good luck, do well. I want to thank everyone who has found a way to make public comments. Nancy, thanks for collecting them and providing them. I also want to thank our external audit firm, Nugent & Hausler. For those who don't know, they have provided 35 years of external audit service, fantastic service. And Gary Theodore, the partner, has been part of that for every year. Our change really is about cost in an environment that has a lot of budgetary pressures, as well as finding ways to maybe expand and create additional value. And so I wish Nugent & Hausler well. We appreciate all the good work that they've done for the district over the last 35 years and wish them best. And lastly, I want to thank the audit committee members who helped actually model what I'll call that cooperation characteristic very well over the last month. We worked together. We worked probably more hours than we thought we were going to have to in this RFP process. But I want to personally thank Nina Ross, Brendan Carty, and Matt Bannon, as well as Terry Dade and Harvey Sotland for the time, efforts, and insights to getting us to where we are on this. Hats off to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Margaret?
Yeah, ditto to what everybody said so far. Exciting that in a time where COVID is, the second word in every sentence these days, that the administration is figuring out ways to make things work as well as they can with the shackles of the constraints that they have on them, on their wrists at all times. I wanted to say thank you to the audit committee for all the work that you did do in the external auditor search. I'm glad I wasn't doing it because that kind of stuff just, but I also wanted to really give a shout out to, despite the fact that we're in such constraints on so many levels and there's so many, rules and regulations around teaching these days, that to hear all these amazing, timely, creative, and engaging lessons that are going on, despite the fact, that you're not in a typical classroom with typical everything now. And yet you hear, and I have neighbors who, the kids talk to me about how great they're loving school. And especially the younger ones, their friends aren't all in the classroom at the same time, but that's pretty much, everybody's got such a positive feel. That Secret Service, the inaugural room transformation, unbelievable. How cool is that? And to get the TAs to be Secret Service, come on. I mean, I want that at my house. That's cool. And also the 8th grade, connecting the students, 8th graders who are now trying to think about, what do I want to do? What kind of classes do I want to take in high school? What do I want to do beyond high school? To have again, this is a silver lining, I guess, but to be able to connect with all of these different people who have amazing marine biologist, jobs. That's, the kids get to actually talk to this person. You get out of school, it costs lots of money to pay to some recruiter to be able to meet with people like that. So it's great that the teachers are using all the resources at their availability. And I love the fact they're thinking like that, which they always do, but despite COVID, they're still getting it done, which I love. And lastly, to Zach and Jonathan, congratulations on your amazing musical achievements. I really hope that when details are brought together about whether they're going to have their concerts in person or remotely, that we get all that information, because I'm definitely up for traveling or zooming in, because I think just on the fronts, amazing musicians, amazing everything, and sports get to start too. So let's do it, people. Thank you. That was a great to everybody. Thanks for everybody and all their hard work.
Thank you, Margaret. Nina, are you with us?
Hello.
Hi, Nina, you're very low. Can you raise the volume up a little bit?
Oh, there you
I
are.
think I can raise the volume on the mic, but
Excellent. That's
good.
much better. Thank you. Go ahead.
okay. I just wanted to say initially congratulations to our musicians and athletes. Those are the really positive stories that I think keep us all going. To all the families and parents with children in school who are wrestling with this, I just want you to know that, we as a board wrestle with this, but, it's a health crisis. And I think first and foremost, we have to rely on the health professionals to take us in the right direction, and to give us the best advice. And, that's what we're required to do, as well as what seems to be the sensible thing to do. In terms of people wanting to have a voice, I'm putting another pitch out there for the Communications Committee Zoom event on the 2nd of February. Please come. It will be an open forum. There'll be an ability to talk about things and to really have more of a dialogue than, the constraints that are on the board in terms of how it can engage. I'd like to thank my fellow audit committee members, and I'd like to thank Nugent and Hausler. I mean, they have been an excellent accounting firm, and they have served this district so well. We made the decisions we made on a number of different factors, and I'm very hopeful that our incoming firm will provide as excellent a service as we receive from them. I think pretty much that's it. I'd like to thank Giselle and Josh. These days more than ever, you keep us in contact with the schools and what's going on, and what the morale is like, and what is really important on a day-to-day basis. So thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Teresa?
I was just listening to each board member, and at every meeting, I'm always so pleased to hear each person bring so many different things to this table, including our student reps. And I'm very appreciative of that. I just want to mention, Harvey can perhaps, if he has any comments on it, we noticed that Terry had sent us regarding the New York State Fiscal Stress Monitoring System. This comes from the New York State Office of the Controller. And I read these, I get notices from the New York State Controller, and I was very glad and very pleased to see what Terry had sent to us. I won't read it here, but it just basically, the first paragraph, in accordance with the fiscal stress monitoring system used by the New York State Office of the State Controller's Office to annually evaluate local governments and school districts, the Cornwall School District received the highest rating. That's really so important. If you go online and look at the controller's reports every week that go out on a Friday, there are many municipalities and school districts that are in very bad straits. And these are measurements of fiscal stress indicators, environmental stress indicators, these look at basically it's the health of the whole district from that point of view. So again, I want to thank Harvey and Terry and Megan, our cabinet. Really good job. That's really great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Larry?
A couple of things. I'll try to keep it down just for time purposes. First of all, I agree with all that you have all been saying, Brendan and John, about the school openings and so on. As a follow-up on Teresa, there are districts in the state of New York that are on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yes.
So that's just something to keep in mind as to the fiscal strength of our district, which is good to see. And as John said, I can't believe that January is almost over. I mean, we're halfway through the school year, and it's like, holy mackerel, where'd it go? The emails that came in this week, I'd love to see them answered in some form or another, whether it be at the next board meeting or perhaps on the board website somewhere. But to have, I know most of it has been answered. We've had that discussion, but just so some of those questions don't just hang out there and never land. And as a final thing, what seemed like a lifetime ago, we had a presentation on changing from class rank to the Latin system, the summa cum laudes and so on. Just wondering what the status of that is. And, that could be a little something for a next meeting. But just to, where are we with that? Because I fully agreed with the presentation that went on. It made a whole lot of sense. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Matt?
Sure. I'd like to echo what Brennan said in the beginning, and just to encourage members of the community to really reach out to those officials that can actually, force the change that everybody kind of wants to have happen. I'd like to give a thank you to Mr. Edelin for his guidance through finding the new external audit, as well as my other colleagues on the audit committee and Terry and Harvey. It was an interesting last couple of weeks, but we crossed the finish line there. And then just a few thank yous. Giselle and Josh, as always, thank you for your updates. Terry, thank you for your superintendent update. Thanks to the public for their comments and their letters, and thank you to Nancy for reading them. So I got.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Louis?
Yeah, I'll open with Brendan. I agree with your sentiments. Thank you for saying the words you said so eloquently. I agree with everything you said. I appreciate that being put out. I want to thank the teachers. Importantly, thank the teachers for keeping our students, I know my kids specifically, keeping them engaged, motivated, and moving forward. Without that effort, your effort, this whole thing the whole remote hybrid wouldn't work. So thank you guys for that. I'll parlay that into coupling that with thanking the technology teachers and admin also for welcoming back our cohort C. They're back now, and no more edges here. I know I'm happy to hear that. I'm certain there's other people out in the community that are happy to hear that. We can say goodbye to that. Hopefully we can say goodbye to the whole remote world in short order. Knowing we all want our kids, back in the classrooms. Giselle and Josh, thank you as always for your kind words and your sentiments. It's always great to hear you guys and what you have to say and bring us into the schools. Visitation committee, unfortunately, that's not a real hot committee this year. Can't really get into the schools. I really look forward to it, but this is the best I can get with you guys folding me in. So I thank you for that. And lastly, this time of year, the cold weather wreaks havoc on pipes underground utility systems and so forth. So I'm certain Walter's out in the fields with his guys doing what he's got to do in the 20-degree temperatures, getting our buildings back together. I'm certain some fire companies were involved with pumps and some help there. So I appreciate those guys and their efforts out there getting it done and doing their part to help keep our kids in school. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you, Louis. I would like to thank everyone here tonight, all those who provided any kind of input, and certainly, as always, my board and our student reps. Awesome. We just love having you with us. As we close the meeting, I'd like to clarify a few things. As I have said at previous meetings, the school board does not run the district. We have hired the superintendent to do that. Thank you, Terry, and his team. The school board's main role is fiscal decisions and policy. And that being said, we are fully aware of what's going on in the district. In this time of shutdowns, quarantines, and restrictions, we are required to follow all regulations handed down to us ultimately by the Orange County Health Department, which is led by Dr. Irina Gelman. For example, when the governor has given the go-ahead for the certain sports to start, which is great, he also has said the local county health departments will have the final say. Please remember that while this district has supported being open while following restrictions like we have to, as Mr. Dade said, distancing, masks, etc., our county health commissioner was strongly advocating for all school districts in this county to shut down from Thanksgiving until just now. Cornwall made that decision to not do that. Other neighboring counties, while following state regulations, have also had their own county health departments issue different quarantine guidelines when an exposure happens that seem to follow a little bit more common sense approach, in my opinion, than everyone stays home, which is often an Orange County Health Department decision that we then must follow. I can go back to last June when our two Board of Ed student reps at their very last meeting spoke from the heart about, as seniors, 18 years old, what not being in school that spring felt like. We have heard from our current reps, eloquently so, that things are good as best as possible under the circumstances. Everyone sitting on this board has been impacted, whether our immediate family, our children, or our grandchildren. I have watched my granddaughter do remote learning. I don't even know how the teachers are doing this. So kudos to every one of you. And we have seen the struggles. We have heard from countless parents, and we truly, truly get it. But the district is not allowed to make decisions, no matter how much we may believe in them, that would not follow the health department rules. None of us can predict what even the next month will hold. Many would advocate for returning to a regular school day because we have seen the emotional toll, if not just the stress this has taken on everyone. Every person vested in our district has given their all. I have said that every time we have met. Every employee of this district, no matter where they work or what their job is, has allowed us to continue to do as much as we have been doing each and every day. Every family, parents, grandparents, caregivers, and our most precious commodity, our children, have been doing the best they can do under these difficult circumstances. I thank you all so much. I thank you for being with us tonight. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the night. Thank you to everyone who joined us this evening.
Thank you.
Take care, all. Have a
Bye,
good night.
guys.
Take care, everybody.
Stay safe.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.